Hi guys, so a little history lesson for you all, but it's also reading. La Sal del Rey, a long history. Here we have the prehistoric native use of La Sal del Rey, and here you see prehistoric natives. Okay, so the image here on this selection or this piece of writing, there's an image and I'm noticing that they are natives, okay, and they're carrying things on their head. And it looks like there's some kind of chief or something here. They have weapons. They have a basket of something. Okay, and it looks like he has a pan of something. So I wonder what it is. If we go back to the title, it's La Sal del Rey. Sal is salt in English. So possibly this might be salt. Okay, and then we come over here and we see cabeza de vaca. We have all learned about cabeza de vaca in our social studies class, and if we haven't, we will be this year. So we also have a map, okay? And the map next to it says Texas and northern Mexico, as they were at the end of the Mexican-American War in 1849. So many years ago, Texas and northern Mexico. So we have a map, and I can see there's red lines on it, red and maybe some green. We have cabeza de vaca. We have prehistoric native use of La Sal del Rey. Now let's go ahead and read it. La Sal del Rey, a long Texas history. As far back as prehistoric times, the lakes of this area were an important source of salt for many different peoples. Prehistoric native tribes, okay, so the purpose for this is to show us the prehistoric native tribes, would gather here to collect salt. So the inference I made about this being possibly salt because of the title was correct, okay? Which they used to preserve meat, tan hides, seasoned foods, and also for trading purposes. As believed, the first European to visit the lakes was Cabeza de Vaca. As believed. That means they're not positive, but they believe that Cabeza de Vaca is the first one to visit these lakes. So the purpose of this image is to show you who Cabeza de Vaca was. In the early 1500s, we're in 2020, so this was many, many years ago. Later, La Sal del Rey was rediscovered, so discovered again, by the Spaniards, who quickly claimed the area for the King of Spain. Salt was the first export of the Rio Grande Valley, originally hauled out by ox carts, so carts pulled by oxen, and shipped to all of the missions in Texas and as far south as Mexico City. Look closely, as you may be able to see the ox cart tracks that still exist today. So if you come visit here, you might be able to see the tracks that still exist today. Okay, the Salt Lakes have had many owners and undergone many changes. In 1747, the Spanish settlers were the first to begin commercially harvesting the salt. When Texas declared itself a republic in 1836, it laid claim to the highly coveted Salt Lakes. During the Civil War, the Salt Lakes changed ownership again, this time to the Confederacy, who used the salt to finance the war as well as for ammunitions manufacturing, weapons, and consumption, eating. After several attempts at manufacturing salt, Union soldiers finally destroyed the salt mining operations in 1863. Eventually, the lakes came under private ownership in 1866, and the salt was harvested commercially until 1936. Over the years, La Sal del Rey and its two companion lakes on the Teniente and East Lake tracts have been used for many things, including brine shrimp harvesting, therapeutic wading pools, harvesting of decorative salt crystals, and for drilling fluids and lubricants for oil-filled operations. Finally, in 1990, now it's getting closer to us, La Sal del Rey was purchased by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service from the El Luis Campbell family and became part of the Lower Rio Grande Valley National Wildlife Refuge. The history-rich Salt Lakes are now under the protective umbrella of the National Wildlife Refugee System and are managed for the benefit of the wildlife and current and future generations. Okay. So we have the map that helps us understand